Hey, welcome to the week of November the 11th through the 13th. Here we go for our homework help this week. If you look at tonight's homework, Monday, November the 11th, number 4, find the length of the lake. Okay, there's a lot of information on here. First, we got to see what we're looking for. So we're looking for this back side here. So the same side we need to compare it to, or the information we need, is this other side here. Comparing it with the 9/10. Now we've got to pick two other sides we can compare. To me, I'm thinking the inside or the base. So we have a base here and the base all the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this set up. Let's just go base and side there. Guys, don't get bogged down in the words you're going to call it as long as you understand what you're calling it. I'm going to call this over here the sides, and I'm going to call this down here my bases. As long as you understand what it means for you, then that works. And I have a triangle inside of another triangle. So if I set this up looking at this problem, this is what I'm looking for. So I have 9/10 over x. So I'm going to set it up side to side. 9/10 over x. Now I'm going to look at the bases of it. So looking at the bases of it, this small base from the center just to where it stops right there is 1.2. So I have 1.2. Okay. Look at it, guys. This is what I went from the small to the big. Small to the big one. Now I went from the side to the bases of it. Now the problem is I need the base of the whole triangle, a great big one. So that's not just stopping right here, but it's going all the way. Just this one part right here is 2.4. So what I have to do is I have to put them together to find my full length. So I have 1.2 or 1 2/10 plus 2 4/10. So when I add that up, that gives me 6/10, 3 6/10. So here I have 3 6/10. Okay, so we look for an easy scale factor. 9/10 does not go easily into 1/10, or 1 2/10 does not go into 9/10. However, if you look at the side over here, if the decimals were not there, that looks like 12 36. 12 can go into 36 3 times, so times 3. So we have a scale factor of 3. If you do it to one side, you should be able to do it to the other side here. So I need to do 9/10. 9/10 times 3. 9 times 3 is 27. But we had a decimal place, so that's not just 9, that was 9/10, which gives us 2 7/10. So x is equal to 2 7/10. Now, guys, there's many ways to do this problem. I could have reduced this first. I could have done my cross multiply and divide. This is just one way that I showed you tonight. Let's go ahead and look on to our next problem. For Tuesday night, number 2, a tower casts a shadow 32 meters. At the same time, a 2-meter pole casts a shadow of 8 meters. How high is the tower? Probably need to go ahead and draw a picture, guys. So I'm going to pause the video so I can draw a picture, and I need you to pause the video and draw your picture. Okay, the way I have my pictures drawn, my tower and my shadow, my pole and my shadow, the best way I want to set this up is one object at a time, thinking about height versus my shadow. So I'm going to set up a proportion box with height versus shadow being the two things that I want to compare. Starting from my left to my right, I first have the tower. I don't know the height of the tower, so I'm going to use X for my height of my tower. The shadow is 32 though. That's my information that's going to help me out there. Okay, next I have a 2-meter pole that casts a shadow of 8 meters. Okay, once I have this up, I can easily see I have a perfect scale factor. 8 to 32 can go 4 times, so it's times 4. If I do it to the bottom, I need to do it to the top. So 2 times 4 is 8. So the height of my tower, X, is equal to 8 meters. Just as long as the shadow on the other one. Moving on, looking at Wednesdays. Of the 1,500 students at Blau Middle School, 58% play a sport. How many students play a sport? Well, I need to go ahead and set this up, my part 2 whole, okay? Of the 1,500 students, well, that's my whole class at Blau. So it's going to go ahead and put this down here in the whole, the 1,500. 58%, well, percent's always per 100. So I have 58 out of 100, my whole. So I'm looking for my X right there, my unknown. Well, first of all, 58% is more than half. If it's more than half of 1,500 is 700 at least, right? So I know it can't be A, and I know it can't be C because those are way too small, because those are less than half. So not only can I get rid of A and C because they're way too small, well, if I look at D, D is almost 600. So 600 plus 600 is still only 1,200. So that's really way too small also. So that means I can also get rid of D because that's way too small. So the only option I have left is B. But let's set it up and see why it has to be B. Okay. Now remember, you don't want to just go straight to cross multiply and divide. You want to look for easy scale factor. This is going from what we know to what we don't know. Now these both end in zeros, so I can get rid of my zeros. 0 for a 0, 0 for a 0. So now I'm looking at 1 to 15. 1 times 15 is 1,500. If I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. So I'm going to have 58 times 15. So I need to set that up and show my work. So 58 times 15. 5 times 8 is 40. Carry my 4. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 4 is 29. Scratch, scratch, lay my egg. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 5 is 5. Need to go ahead and add that up. 9 plus 8 is 17. 9, 5, 6, 7, 8 gives me 870. So that matches B perfectly, and that's how you go about doing it. But process of elimination, I could have got out of doing all of that work. Think smarter, not harder.